Thanks for being the second guest. This is super duper cool.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
And I don't know, too much about you other than that you followed us, you connected with us. I figured out you wrote this book. I bought the book. I'm almost finished with it. I got like 20 pages left.
Nice.
It's a great read. So could you just tell the listeners, the viewers, however they're listening to this podcast, just give people like, I don't know, a couple, like 2 or 3 minutes of who you are, a little background about Ricky Roberts.
Really quick background. It's the Thank You Skateboarding is my 8th book. I have 7 other books out. I grew up in a dysfunctional, abusive home, experienced a lot of violence, got stabbed 9 times at the age of 17 in a street fight, and that sort of evolved into me assessing my life, looking at how I was thinking about myself, how I was feeling about myself, kind of decisions I was making at the time. From there, I knew I had to start changing, and part of that was I got a notebook. I started writing, reflecting on stuff. Long story short, that writing became more involved for me, and several years later, I released my first book, and it's just been an evolution ever since. So, currently I write books, and I'm also the founder of an organization called You Are Valued, which is a movement of valuing others that just spreads this real simple ripple of kindness thing. And lifelong skateboarder. Been skateboarding for over 30 years, maybe over 11, 30, 40, yeah, over 30 years, 32, 33 years.
Dang. What originally got you into skateboarding?
I think about who it was. I don't know who it was, but someone, like, it was my older brother's friend came over and he had a skateboard. I ended up using someone's skateboard one day, and at that point I just knew right away that I wanted to skate. I like something about being on the skateboard. And then I got a used skateboard from someone. At the time, I was really into BMX racing, traveling around with this guy that my family, at that time, my dad had left. We didn't have a lot of money, but there was a guy I knew who was the father of someone I raced with, and he made his living taking photos at the races. So when my friends stopped racing, I still traveled with him. I'd go around to all the different races. I was super involved in it. Then I started bringing that board that I had to the races because I felt like I would be gone all weekend. I would go sometimes on the road for a little bit, but I would miss skateboarding so much. So I started bringing my board to the races, and then I got to the point where I was almost missing my motos, they called them, my heat, because I was out in the parking lot skateboarding. And one weekend I decided, I said, because I would race Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night every weekend to get my points for national races. And I was like, I'm just going to stay home and skate all weekend. I'm not going racing. That was it.
That was like the switch.
I skated. That was it. I did that the whole weekend, and I knew from that point on, I wanted to focus everything into skateboarding and learning and progressing, and I didn't want to be away from my skateboard.
Yeah.
And I never turned back,
Were you ever sponsored?
I was. It's kind of like a flow thing for Milk Skateboards, Kristen Soy's company, back in the day.
How did that happen?
I was just getting sponsor me tape.
Oh,
it
cool.
Was just, yeah, it was I made some footage, and I don't have any footage from back then. I think I just I don't even think you thought of copies then. You just sent what you had.
Yeah.
And then I kept sending them footage after that. But it was sent him a tape and pretty much kept calling and bugging the guy, whoever I was talking to, the team manager, whoever it was. Eventually, he started sending me stuff, and yeah, I was like filming. They were doing a video. He kept asking for footage for the video. I was sending him footage all the time. That video, nothing ever came of it. You know, they ended up closing. You know, and you know, I skated several AM contests. There's a generation where skated again because I was in Florida. Skated against Andrew Reynolds, Billy Rohan, and a few other guys. We skated these contests called Facile. Had a great time.
This is the Florida edition of Castle.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you were in contest with Andrew Reynolds?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Definitely never beat him. He was just, dude, even back then, it was, he was just on it. He was on his level for sure. In the contest, he was shredding. But yeah, it was a good time.
Did any people from like Jacksonville come down, like Clyde Singleton or Kane Gale?
Oh yeah. All those guys, Clyde Singleton. I don't remember Kane. A dude from Miami used to come up. I forget his name. You know how contests would be. They were always so hectic, and I would know a lot of faces, but the names, you know, I didn't.
Did you do pretty well in the contest, or was it?
No, I mean, I did. I think I got third once, fourth and fifth a couple times. I was in the top 10
that's good.
several times, you know. But it was, you know, at that time, the levels were so different of what you needed to do in a contest to place well. Obviously, it was in the 90s, but I worked hard at it. And like when I knew a contest was coming up, I put a lot of time in really nailing down some tricks before the contest happened, so I could get them in runs. Yeah,
focus the energy on landing the tricks.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Let's dive into your book a little bit, and I know we're gonna kind of like break this up. Oh yeah, I told you one was coming. Same one that was on Goldie's episode, Luna. She loves it. You can stay here all you want. Yeah, I know we're gonna like break it down to like some mini episodes, which would be pretty cool. I like the flow of your book from like the different chapters. No, we're not playing with bags. You want to like let's talk about like perspective and like and like skaters' perspective of the world and like everything of just how we see things super differently.
Love it. And just real quick out of just back to the sponsor thing, I'm in my head, I'm just thinking I had a shop sponsor before that, not to say like I had these sponsors, but out of respect for the people that's done a lot for me.
Oh yeah,
shop
definitely.
Sponsor that's no longer around, and they were called Sundance. And then later on in my 20s, when I took some time off and wasn't really skating much and started again, and then had a local sponsor, Bob Bolotowicz. He was a surfboard shaper, but also had skate products, and he took care of me for a while. So I just out of respect for them, since you asked that question.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta give respect where respect is due.
Yeah, because any hookup on products and any flow of any sorts is always so appreciated for any skateboarder. So much love and respect for that. But perspective. Yeah, that section in the book that whole book was one of my favorite books at this point to write. It just was such I was feeding off so much inspiration from the people I have the privilege to skate with, and just the vibe and love of skateboarding was all just flowing so fluidly in writing that book. But perspective, it's like skateboarders, everything is different when you start to skate. Like the way you look at anywhere you are, any stairs you're walking up or handrail you're holding on to, or even if you've never done handrail, you're still like, it's the part of the way you start to see the world when you're driving down the road. But beyond obstacles that you notice and see as a skateboarder, it's also how we look at life, you know, and how we look at problems, and how there's this, in the common thread in so many skateboarders that I've seen and know, this part about them, that the way they see the world and the way that they're able to create different things in their life, or pursue different passions, and the tenaciousness that is bred from being a skateboarder, in terms of like not seeing things as something that's going to hold you down and hold you back, but how you're going to overcome it. And that idea of the idea in that section is just the perspective that skateboarding cultivates, the positive perspectives that you get from skateboarding.
Yeah. Do you find yourself when you're driving? Do you like, especially if it's like a newer area that you haven't been to? Do you find yourself when you're like driving in a new area? Do you drive a little slower, and you're like, are you a little bit more like receptive to your surroundings?
Abs- Absolutely, man. Like just looking at so many different parts of the city, you know, and as I've gotten older, of course, it's like when I was younger, I'd see that and be like, oh, dude, that's like, look at that set of stairs, or that gap is totally doable. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
Now it's more of like, in terms of getting in the bigger stuff, it's seeing it, just appreciating it, you know, like, wow, that's just a good thing to skate. But it could be the simplest things too. You know,
Yeah.
when you're walking, say you're, you know, with your wife or friends or girlfriend, whoever it is, it's especially in a new place, it's like you're walking, and sometimes in my mind, I'm skating through wherever I'm walking. I don't know if that makes sense,
No,
but
I mean, I think to any skateboarder that would make full sense, because they're
yeah,
probably like envisioning like a trick that they like either could do, or maybe it's something that they're like picturing somebody else do, like one of their friends. Like I know that I do that with
dude,
like certain people. I'm like, oh, like this, like my friend could be able to do this, and I'm already seeing what they could do like in my brain. So I'm like, oh, I got to make like, well, now it's easier with technology. You could just like be like, okay, like cross streets, da 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 da, like, but before you would just like kind of catalog it and remember where the place is,
yeah.
and
And
hopefully
dude,
bring them
I'm
back.
so glad you said that, because that's part of the beauty of skateboarding, is you don't just see things for yourself. You see things like, oh, my friend so and so could do this trick on that, or this over that. It's rather that you said that, because I do that all the time, where I see things where it's not something I would skate, or even at the park, it's not something I would do, but I can see someone that I skate with doing it, and it's just as cool to have those visions and ideas about things when you see them.
No, fully, because I know like my like personal like level and like capabilities, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I definitely like can't do that, but I'm just like, oh, I know somebody who can. Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
I'm gonna bring them back here and like hopefully make that, reality.
right.
So I don't
Yeah, and
know.
you get to experience the trick kind of through them. When you're stoked about it, you're like, oh, dude, I could see you doing this. And then they do it. Sometimes I joke with certain people I skate with, where it's like, yeah, you're my video game character. So like, hey, you got this on this obstacle or whatever it is. And I get to
No,
get that
fully.
joy out of it, you know?
Yeah, no, you're like I don't know, like how when people like live vicariously like through others, yeah, it's like the certain it aligns right there with that, I think. So I don't
And
know.
I think we do that with each other as skateboarders. You know, there's this shared stoke, and I talk about that in the book. I forget which section, but there's sometimes I get just as excited to see someone do a trick than if I did the trick myself.
Oh yeah,
And I
definitely.
see their stoke on it, and just you're like, it's like you're a part of it.
Yeah, no, fully agreed. And then if like you can like document it and capture it to like rewatch it, over again. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's really cool.
absolutely.
Do you think that skaters have like a, I don't know if like better is the right word, but because their like perspective is obviously different, do you think that like the way that they like solve problems like outside of skateboarding?
I definitely different, and I err saying better because there's, even when writing this book, I'm thinking of so many different extreme sports that could connect on certain aspects of like the thread, in the book.
No, fully.
But in terms, I think skateboarders are brilliant, in so many different ways and aspects. Like when you talk about solving problems, like instantly thinking about the section on focus where it's like you think, and I was thinking about this morning when you're learning a new trick. 'Cause I was trying a new trick yesterday, and it was like there are so many different. It's a puzzle. Like okay, where exactly is the angle of my back foot? Where on the tail does it need to be if I'm going off the tail? Where's my front foot? How is that shifting? What approach angle do I need to take up to this new trick that I'm trying? And then in any trick of what speed, what momentum, is the obstacle slick, sticky, all these things you're assessing in milliseconds as you're coming up to do a trick.
Yeah.
Over and beyond the fact that you may be overcoming a fear to do the trick in the first place.
Right.
So this happens every time you skate. That like mental activity in the way it's firing to focus and do what you do on a skateboard, regardless of what that is and what level it is, is like this beautiful exercise for your mind.
Is that,
having said that, all of this is happening. So then when like random problems come up, I've seen skateboarders figure stuff out that would like blow my mind. I know skateboarders that are some of the most brilliant people I know in terms of what they do for their career path or their work. And I attribute all of that to what skateboarding did for them in their mind and what it took and takes to be a skateboarder. In terms of that like mental ability to focus and solve problems and be acutely aware of the smallest thing and adjustment that can help you be better.
Do you think that's why so many people who like aren't skaters trip out on like this is like magic almost?
Yeah. I mean, there's still tricks for as long as I've been skateboarding. When I see them, like, I can rationalize it. I know it makes sense, but then sometimes you're like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. But we skateboard, so there's like that connection to it where we know that's just us being like, it's just rad. That's an amazing trick. It's mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
But for the people who, and I think that's why the common spectator gets more excited and more excited about certain things that maybe not even be a difficult trick.
Yeah.
But because they can comprehend it, so yeah, it's definitely, I think that they don't know because their mind isn't able to like process exactly what's going on because they haven't done it.
Yeah, it's not geared towards like the skaters like brain that's been like conditioned to do these tricks, whether it's like automatically or if it's something that took them a considerable amount of time to like learn and they're still like in the process of learning a trick.
Yes.
Do you think people are gonna what do you think the viewing audience of perspective on when and if the Olympics does happen? Like, what do you think the global audience will, like, what do you think their perspective on skateboarding is going to be?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where it'll be mixed. If they may not understand maybe judging, where like if someone's doing a lot of technical stuff in and out of rails, or I'm just talking street,
Yeah, yeah, no.
the street course, not the parks that they'll have as well, but just using that as an example, to them, if someone is doing that and doing a lot of technical stuff versus someone who may do like a few big airs, and not to minimize big ollies, because that's one of my favorite things to see ever, is just a nice floaty solid ollie.
Yeah.
But in their minds, they won't understand why the other person may have scored higher. So there may be that, like, I wouldn't call it an issue, but it's just lack of knowing.
Yeah, lack of understanding. Like, why does this score higher than this as opposed to this?
Right. Which, now that I think about it, the announcers, they do a great job, I think, of that. Like, if you watch Street League or X Games, it seems like they really try to educate as they're announcing, and I think that there would probably be a little more attention on that, even in the Olympics, considering the global audience and the fact that so many of those people in the audience may not have a history with skateboarding,
right,
or understanding of it. So it will be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think regardless of how people see it and what their perspective is of it, skateboarding is virtually impossible not to just appreciate and marvel at. I mean, I watch it all the time, where there will be people just like cruising through the park, and I'm sure you've seen it countless times. If people stop and watch, they may have no clue what's going on. If someone's skating switch, nollie, whatever, they just can't help but to appreciate it. And I think that will be consistent regardless of who knows about skateboarding or not, or where they're at in the world. I think that it's really hard not to just appreciate it and love it because it's just like an art form. Like, it's just this this creative thing that, if for me, for example, if I see ice skating, I don't really know like what moves are hard. I can appreciate it. I don't know a lot about it, but when I see someone perform in the Olympics on the ice skating ring, it's like, that's their craft. I can't help but to appreciate it. And I'm happy that skateboarding will get that platform for people to just appreciate it for the art and craft and brilliant thing that it is, beyond athleticism.
No, definitely. I loved how you like mentioned how you just like to see like a huge ollie. Like, because the Olympics are so like, I don't like metric based, like times and heights and like high jump, long jump, 50 yard, like that type of thing. Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like an actual like metric thing like the high ollie?
High ollie and long ollie would be just straight ollie, no trick or anything, but high ollie and low ollie, like either off flat or off a hip or whatever, and long ollie. That would be amazing to watch. Because
that would be like more like metric based, like how the Olympics like is, and that would like sans the judges. That way, there's no like, because skateboarding is so like, everything's subjective.
Absolutely.
Everything. And with that they would just like eliminate that like subjectivity of like,
there's no way to argue it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that would be super cool. I doubt that it would happen, but that would be like really tight, because then you're kind of
cool extension for sure.
Yeah, maybe for like a future one for sure. But then you're getting people who are like physically like built and can actually like do that really well. Like, I mean, a swimmer is a good swimmer for a number of reasons. Like, might have like huge hands. I don't know like the swimmer's like build, but they're built for swimming. And that's their deal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I think that would be like how you said, like a cool a cool extension. Like, doubt it's gonna happen this first crack, but I don't know. I think that would just be like really tight because yeah, then that would just eliminate the. You wouldn't need the judges to be like, well, this kickflip back lip was better than I don't know whatever.
Right, right. A big like ollie foot plant off of something, you know.
Yeah, and both are equally
Just,
sick.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Dude, all skateboarding's sick. I get stoked on someone ollieing up a curb that's never done it before.
Oh,
It's
heck
just
yeah.
like it's when that person's doing something that's good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm thinking when you're talking about this long ollie and high, I'm interested, like really how far that would go. How far would it push in terms of the distance for flat ollies, and same thing with high ollies
Like that
as
would be
time went
super
on.
exciting.
Like, would it get up to like? What do you? I think who was it that did that really long flat ollie? They were saying is one of the longest. I forget. But anyways, I don't know how long the
Yeah.
longest ollie is. I
Yeah, I
would
don't
be
know.
curious to know.
Yeah, it'd be cool if there was, I don't know, you can, and then you could be like, well, are they just gonna push? Are they gonna give them like the roll in, like they do at
No way,
Wallenberg?
full push, full push flat ollie and a full push high ollie.
Oh my
Just
god,
like see how high you could get.
I don't know. That to me would be like super sick.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like that would definitely put people on like the edge of their seat and give it some like cool like competitiveness to it as well.
Yes.
So, but I don't know. That's my take. I don't know.
I like it.
Oh, thanks. The cat's back. Let's. I love the perspective one. Let's end that one right there. That was rad.
I'm Ricky Roberts III, and you're watching 7-Day Weekend.
I love it. We're out until next time. Thanks for listening, everybody, or watching, however you consume.